Hello, my name is Mihal, I'm part of Starwood Industries, and today I'm pleased to show you the Invincible. I'm going to briefly show you the key features of our production. Since the game is strongly narrative, but also non-linear and interactive, with a large dose of role-playing, I like to start with the dialogue system.
This is Dr. Yaza. I report perturbations in the course of the mission.
We wanted our conversations to be as natural as possible. We don't split the game into gameplay parts and talking parts. We can proceed with our actions and keep the conversations going as we go. Dialogues don't pause the game. For instance, on the presented sequence of lowering our character from the rope, we control the movement, and we also have a chance to talk with our companion on the radio. Radio communication is the most frequent form of contact with other people in the game.
He hasn't left yet.
We had a minor landing malfunction, but everything...
What is the fault? There isn't much of it. It looks like a quick scout, or the end of the mission.
A challenging environment and the strength of the radio signal can influence the sound quality.
Dragonfly, take it back.
You are here. Are there new tracks?
No visible activity, but that's the only way he could go.
If necessary, please report immediately.
I report severe headaches. Besides,
We don't have any connection with our crew in some cases, and we stay alone on the surface.
at the moment, I do not find any severe injuries. Soon, I will continue. Yeah, whatever I was doing. Well, there is room for water in all this dry environment.
We can start a conversation by reporting objects that we see.
Or an unknown liquid that made it hard for biomass to form.
Sometimes we can choose how we want to report it.
I have a terrain barrier in front of me. I don't want to make a stupid mistake at the end.
We can respond to what others say.
The structure has taken a very vertical course locally. Very deep. Such a...
We can pick the most suitable option for us, which meets our feelings best. And of course, we can make decisions that way.
I'm afraid to ask. What do you have there?
Zalev's actions seem to be illogical. There's
No radioactivity, no spores, bacterias, mold, viruses, nothing.
just the oxygen. No life on the continent, but oxygen in spades.
That's puzzling.
Maybe life's concealed in the ocean.
Right. Oxygen may come from aquatic organisms.
Will sir?
Sometimes our character speaks for herself, without the player's input, but only after the player's action
Maneuver completed.
or to make subtle comments about events that happen in the world.
So you're here. Lilov, you won't be pleased. This is another piece
We
of
want to
evidence.
leave decisions for players and make a real feature out of it.
I also don't know why I would have taken it. I rarely work with dead planetary tissue.
Are you alone?
Affirmative. All this equipment just for me. Astrogator is resting in his cabin.
Dr. Crowder, what do you think of a 5 minutes break? From that, the old man would have been fine without you up there.
Apparently he has a plan.
I don't want to pile on, but this experience is priceless.
Pickle, bear in mind you're on a mission. You're too distracted. We don't need a ridiculous mishap.
You can see what's happening. Is that normal, Yasna?
No animals of any exoplanet I've been on showed fear of the technical devices. They never fear what they haven't met in their lives. And these fish are afraid of probes.
You say they actually have seen probes before.
I don't know what they've seen. But why do they need such a defense mechanism? Maybe it's jumping to conclusions, but it seems that life on this planet was pushed back to the water. Captain, it sounded serious. We should take action.
And what do you think we shall do?
I can get on the other lander and fly there.
Dr. Yasna, I can't let you go by yourself. You are.
Now let me show you some features related to the character's movement. Our main character, Yasna, travels in a spacesuit. Her helmet is attached to the body, so when she turns her head around, you can see that the helmet stays in the same position, sometimes limiting the view range.
Except it doesn't look like a natural formation.
Do you want to say?
I don't.
Yasna also leaves footprints behind her. Yasna can jog to speed up her journey a little, but she can start quickly with the suit on, which results in heavy breathing and getting her front shield fogged up. Her movement speed is influenced by the terrain type, the slope or the wind.
Seemingly flat and
To keep going, she needs to pass smaller and bigger obstacles.
Here you go, and make sure you.
We don't want to take away the control of the character from players' hands, so we haven't introduced any cutscenes to the game. However, we want players to see some high-quality animations that they would know from cutscenes. That's why we created the so-called complex interaction system.
I'm starting the system.
No. Please do nothing. I'm not asking you to.
I repeat, I don't know. I don't remember the course of the mission so far. Can you hear me? Crap.
In a complex interaction, you have a fixed, directed experience. On one side, you have a limited movement of your body and your head, but you have some special actions available and custom usage of your standard equipment on the one side. Besides complex interactions with objects, this feature can also be used for advanced terrain traversal.
I follow him.
8 minutes.
I lowered myself to the end of the rope.
I guess that's good.
Dragonfly, do you copy?
Loud and clear. Here's your radiophonist Yasna.
We're getting...
There are many instances of complex interaction scenes designed, with some already being implemented, some are still missing, and some are in a very early prototype state, like this one here. As you can see, we were saved from falling down by hanging on to a flying probe. Now this leads us to another feature, a robot companion. We will find a teleprobe buried in the sand, close to the field camp set by our crew. As the only operating person on the surface, we take it with us.
Watch the probe carefully, please. It can save your life.
It's comforting that someone walked away from this.
Go again?
That was irrelevant.
It's a flying measuring center. It can spot things that human eyes can miss. And while dealing with strange anomalies, it can be super useful to have around.
Hey, Ball, what did you find there?
Yasna, only carefully.
It's a semi-automatic device. It has predefined algorithms of behavior. It follows people, Yasna this time, but tends to fly away for its own purpose. Novik, however, he can adjust its goals to help us.
Probe ready.
A teleprobe not only helps us, but also saves us, several times in fact. And after traveling together for some time, we will eventually lose the probe. Yasna, as a scientist, brings some useful equipment with her.
Nothing, just like I thought. I'm alone, at least within 100 meters.
One of the basic pieces of equipment is Tracker. It lets you locate your crew members and your robots in the surrounding area.
So you're here.
Usually, you keep in contact with everybody, but in a situation where you are cut away, then people are lost and you're on a rescue mission, it turns out to be extremely useful to have a tracker on. Later on, after some adjustments, it can help you locate objects on the other crew as well.
Got it. I found the probe. It's lying in the sand. I have good news. Willova's alive. He moves.
Yes, I can see him.
Shining tents in sight. Do you hear me? I can see the tents. Last 430 meters, in a straight line. I am unequivocally stated that I have found Wilev's next whereabouts. A field point marked with a red flag.
Yes?
A telemeter, which can end up with the name of Teleopticon in the final game, is a magnifying device with additional capabilities of measuring a distance to an object you observe. This feature can be used to orient yourself on the map when you're lost.
After that, fortunately, I managed to mark the orientation points. I'm looking for an object that looks like a dog. More precisely, a doggy. I am looking at a characteristic rock, which definitely doesn't look like a dog. I'm checking out another orientation point, which also doesn't match the marking. Yasna, focus. Maybe this. Yes, I have a doggy. We have the first one. I need one more. I marked one of these rocks as a needle. Well, it looks like a needle's eye. AHA. Reporting recovery of my current position. I'm going.
A handy item to bring on the mission is the journal.
There you are. Maybe you can tell me something.
This is where Yasna draws simplified maps of the surrounding terrain. It helps her stay on track. There are two layers of a map. One showing a bigger region and the other showing detailed maps of sectors.
I see we landed twice. The route is the same at the beginning.
In a situation with memory loss, the journal is also a good starting point. Yasna can stop to analyze a map, but she can also move with the map open. Besides maps, it's used for objective, sketches, and additional notes. It's another thing that we wanted to support immersion in the game by avoiding out-of-the-world menus. A planet is filled with strange metal creatures and structures. Even when hidden beneath the surface, those can be found by a metal detector. Usually, the tool works within a very limited range, but if we want to penetrate the ground deeper, we can extend the range for a short moment of time. Making metal layers visible is one thing, but this model of the detector can also visualize a basic geometry of the surrounding, letting Jasna navigate even in complete darkness. Beyond witnessing events herself, Jasna can learn about previous events from the environmental storytelling elements. But she can also learn a bit more from internal event logs stored inside selected machines, something similar to an airplane black box. In the world of the Invincible, those logs are stored on slides with photographs and a set of parameter values. Some slides are damaged and tell only a part of the backstory. Finding all slides can help to see a full picture. We plan to give access to all collected slides from your journal.
Go ahead and open it, and then tell me what you see.
I see a record of the first days on the surface.
We are interested in this place. Day 4.
There's the place where they started to dig. Noon. There are only 3 people there. Lilov must had been gone already.
What else?
The end. The last one is so distorted it's hard to see a thing in it.
And there's nothing conspicuous about it. Really? They were just digging and suddenly, puff, all the people are dead?
There's one eye-catching thing. In the recordings section, meters captured a ridiculously high value of electromagnetic field.
Well, that's something. When did it start? This field?
I'm checking. Literally a moment earlier, the probe flew away from the place of research. Nothing's visible except sand dunes. A few rocks. A dark, fuzzy spot.
Spot?
Yes, it looks like an ordinary shadow casted by clouds.
Time to go. Please start the systems. You're taking the probe with you.
You had a chance to take a look at some pieces of the equipment. All of those come from the pre-digital era and are inspired by space designs from 1945 to 1965, the space race, and the deep Cold War period. The same applies to machines like spaceships, vehicles, and robots introduced to the game, and there are many of those. Our crew visits the place with a modest ship. We explore the interiors of the ship during retrospections. We move to the surface with the last lander unit left.
What can it do? Lilov was observing the last point recorded from there, and this one is at 100 meters away.
We have a couple of robots and a flying probe. However, our rival faction lands on a planet with the most powerful space cruiser known to mankind. With a crew of almost 100 men, it carries many autonomous robots, both scientific and military, equipped with antimatter guns, lasers, field bases, drill machines, transporters, and rovers. Most of the units are disabled, but some are still operating, and after being corrupted by the planet's inhabitants, they are deadly dangerous to humans, like Jasna and her crew. We can use some machines that we found to extract data from them and to operate some of them as well. One of the most useful finds is the rover. It's a fast way of exploring the surface of Aegis 3. It's especially useful in large, open areas. We plan to unlock a second land vehicle on a late stage of the game to let us go through a rougher terrain. We're doing a jump in a flying saucer to get to the final location. During a mission, we have a chance to interact with some smaller machines, like steering a scout drone. While being in a big ship's control room, we may choose to release dozens of nuclear warheads.
Crew.
Astrogator.
In a quarter in the discuss room.
Yasna is an astrobiologist on a scientific crew of 6 people. We start the game in the middle of events with Yasna alone on the planet's surface, trying to get her lost memories back, and players learning about her teammates taking part in retrospections. We reconnect with the captain of the ship and stay in radio contact with him for most of the time. Our other crew members, after we found them, turn out to be in an unresponsive state and need urgent evacuation and medical treatment. Some unfortunately passed away in unclear circumstances.
The 10th rule.
No.
Stay alive.
You must be joking. If it's one of those. Fuck.
While trying to find a way off the planet for herself, Yasna discovers the presence of another faction on Regis 3. Most of them met a fatal destiny.
Habalt. Ja pieprzę.
Eventually, Yasna finds one survivor who can be a key to understanding what actually happened and in escaping from this planet. Last, but definitely not least, the Swarm. The Swarm is a pack of millions of tiny nanobots who have evolved over tens of millions of years on this planet, devastating every other life and other machines in the process. They have won the evolutionary race here on Regis 3, and this planet is their territory. Due to their electromagnetic predispositions, they make Yasna lose her memories. They can erase humans' memories and cognitive behaviors, pretty much turning them into literal infants in adult bodies. I hope that you enjoyed our short presentation of the Invincible. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach us. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.